Hi, everyone. Good morning on the first day of our distance learning program. I got a lot of emails last night after we sent out our first S'mores newsletter about logging into Google Classroom. A lot of people asking for their child's class code. I know that's been kind of consistent across a lot of the second grade classes and even in other grades as well. So I wanted to give a little tutorial on what to watch for because nobody should actually need their class code at this point. All of the students have actually added or been added to the class already. They've all accessed it at school. They've all joined in. The big key here is making sure that it is your student who is signed in. So for a lot of you, you might get to Google Classroom and it might look like this, totally blank, no classes, just this arrow pointing to the plus sign there to create or join your first class. Now, this is my kind of personal Google account readout because I don't use Google Classroom in my own personal Google account. However, if I click here and I go down to my IUSD account there, you'll notice that it's very different. I have a lot of different Google Classrooms here, including the one that I have for my students here this year. So the big key here is making sure that it is your student who's logged into their account, not their mom, not their dad, not their sibling, because if that's the case, they won't be able to access their Google Classroom. It's going to be really, really important that they are logged into their Google account. Now, they should all have the information for that, but if for some reason they've forgotten, then you can email your teacher, or this is kind of the format that it's going to take. I'm going to move myself over to the side here. If you go to Manage Accounts and you want to manage the accounts on a device, then you can add an account. This is the way it looks with a Chromebook. For some of you who are operating on a different device, it might be a little bit of a quicker route to that add account portion. But either way, once you get there, it's going to ask for their email. And that format is going to go something along the lines of 30 and then their last name. So for me, it would be Miller, first name, Kevin at iusd.org. So that would be what your students might look like. 30, last name, first name at iusd.org. Once you click next there, they're going to enter their long number password, which is very private to them, something that no one else will know. Again, if you need that information, your teacher can send it to you. But the students have used it so frequently to log into the Chromebooks at school that they should have that knowledge pretty well memorized. I also ask that you be a little patient with your student as they are logging into some of these technologies, because this is very different from logging into the Chromebooks at school. If you're on an iPad, a Windows computer, one of the benefits to using a Chromebook at school is when we log in with our Google accounts, and it signs us in on a unified single sign-in. So when I log into this Chromebook that I'm using right now, it automatically logs me in under that profile, under all my Google programs. All I have to do is get there. So these kids are having to go through some different sign-in procedures than they're used to, and it's going to take a little bit of extra time. So basically, to summarize, double and triple check if you're having trouble getting into Classroom, that up here in the corner, when it says Google account, it's actually your student's account, and that it shows their name, it shows their username of that 30 last name, first name at iusd.org. And then if they still can't get in, then email your teacher. But that should solve the problem for most people. Notify your teacher if you have any other questions about accessing Google Classroom.